Well, we're back. It's been a few days since I got the other videos edited and uploaded, although I haven't published them yet. I did have another copyright claim that I had to edit out. Moby? Yeah, Moby left me up. Was actually blocking it in the US and Canada, but I'm less worried about Canada. So I had to trim out about 2 minutes of that, which is funny because my phone actually accidentally paused during that song anyway. So at least it's not the whole thing. But we made some progress down here. So, first of all, this is in the front now. The other laser has been taken down. Haven't remounted it yet. It looks a little crooked, because probably it is. But when you're running it, it actually scans the couch pretty well. I haven't run it with fog yet. That'll either be a this morning scenario. Although honestly, I'll probably wait. It's already 4 o'clock in the morning. The wife is currently asleep. She's going to be out of here for work by like 5:30. Actually, no, she's not. She's up at 5:30. She'll be out of here by 6:30. So then I can run the full fog and everything. Without having to worry about anything waking her up. So over here is currently nothing. Although as you can see, there's a cord running to this guy. The $300. Technically, it's supposed to be a Sumgar, but it's completely unbranded, near as I can tell. Laser has finally arrived. It's only been a month since I ordered the first one that went missing. A little over, actually. It was September 7th that one got ordered. So now he's here. Haven't plugged him in or anything yet. He came kind of late today. And then by the time he did show up, well, actually, before he even showed up, we actually had to go to a family thing at the wife's brother-in-law. Well, my brother-in-law, her brother. And by the time I got back, it was basically time for bed for the wife. I had actually called in to work because I would have been late anyway. Originally, the plan was to go ahead and get some stuff prepared around the house because in other news, as of about 2 days ago, I think it was Friday, my U-Box from U-Haul with all the stuff in Florida is now in Lansing. It's here early. Technically it's slated for delivery this Saturday, so basically 1 week. But I was thinking about maybe trying to move that up to Wednesday, which is one of my days off this week. The only downside is the guy that we are having unload it has actually about tripled his rate since we booked it. So because we've already booked it, he's honoring the old rate, as he should. But U-Haul is telling me if they move it, the rate's going to increase. So we got to try to talk to the local office today, see if we can't make that stick with the old pricing and still move it forward, which the guy's fine with. Or I'm just still going to leave it for Saturday, which poses an issue for work, but I'll figure that out later. But at least the stuff's in Michigan now. So probably the next video after this, and probably the video, the video after this will probably be a full-on laser show with music. The video after that should be going over all the new equipment and stuff that we're pulling out of the pod from Florida. So all my stuff's now in the same spot. It will be in the same spot. Prime sales are still continuing, although this isn't really a Prime sale. But the 8 light strip light that I was thinking about getting, it's normally like a $600 light. It's been on sale for $199 ever since I added it to my cart. But it finally went used again for $154, and I used about $45 in rewards, so I actually got it for about $120. So I went ahead and ordered it. I haven't really decided if it's going to go front or back yet. I think we're going to put it in the front, kind of above the, in front of and above this other laser here. Gotta see, though. I think that's it lighting-wise. I haven't ordered any other lasers or anything yet, because nothing else has really gone on the sale that I'm happy with. These guys are installed. The shorter EU DMX cable has showed up, so that's up there. So I got all the ceiling tiles back up, and you can kind of see they just kind of tuck up in there. Well, it's one nice thing about having this tile. I think I basically have a drop ceiling that I can route cords and stuff through, so that's helpful. But enough jabbering. Let's go ahead and get this new laser powered up and see what it does. Well, spoiler alert, apparently some of the 1900 patterns that this thing does are animations. Or at least figures and drawings. None of that showed up in the online descriptions of this thing, or the video previews. So that's interesting. It's going to take a while to go through other stuff. The menus on it is very basic. Now it looks like I can go sequence 1 through 15. And then basically sound on or off. There is a remote control, which will hopefully help me get into some of the pattern libraries and stuff. We'll have to see. But so far, it's actually pretty freaking cool. So this is just the full auto AI mode. Well, AL mode, whatever. Where it just randomly goes through patterns. This is really the first glimpse I'm getting at this thing, outside of a very brief preview a second ago. So let's just sit here and see what he does. It's a really intense red. I like it. That's definitely a red I can see. So that's awesome. I mean, a lot of the other ones outside of this, what used to be the front laser, the red I could at least see decently. Cute. But yeah, this is probably the brightest red I've seen so far. So far, it kind of seems like the other... Ooh, cute. Seems like the other U-King laser doesn't seem like it has the widest scanning angle so far. Seems a little boxed in. It is possible that this scaling is not 100%. Which supposedly I can change based on the manual that I saw. But I didn't see a way of doing that through the rear menu, at least so far. This is all auto so far. It's not in sound mode for obvious reasons. And I haven't started going through the yeah, see, this is some of the stuff I briefly saw going through the sequences. So I've definitely got some stuff. But I haven't gone through the remote yet, which apparently I can type in the sequence number, among other things. So I'll have to see how much of these patterns I can actually get to on my own. But, I mean, let's be real, I'm going to run it in auto most of the time anyway, so that's most importantly where I want to see where it does stuff. Yeah, this definitely is doing a ton of unique things I haven't seen on any of the other lasers I currently own. Which is kind of why I've been buying different ones. First off, you don't really know what you're getting until you get it. And, you have a bunch of lasers doing the same thing. It has a cool effect, which is why I got 2 of the ones in the front and considering another 2. But it's also nice to have them do different things. This actually looks decently wide. Seems a little bigger than some of the other ones. Well, the U-King specifically. The other ones all have a pretty wide scanning thing. See, that one looks really cool on smoke from what the online video showed. So like I said, the plan is probably to mount him up in this corner, kind of pointing mostly at the floor. Outside of that dolphin or shark video, I haven't really seen anything that's going to necessarily be, oh my god, it's got to go on the screen. Cool hearing a draw. It's a really nice laser. But, you know, for 300 bucks, normally, it should be. I paid about $250 for it. Definitely the most expensive one I got so far by a decent margin. Another thing. So it's pointing. That one's cool. That's gonna look great in the fog. Police car? Yeah, something. But yeah, considering the it's basically sitting flat on the edge of the couch here. Its up and down range is actually pretty good. Just not very that much left and right. I should at the very least be able to turn the fog machine on without too much of an issue for upstairs. The only thing is there's like 3 lasers attached to that same smart outlet right now. Light ball? Cute. Alright, so its animation patterns are pretty basic, I'll give it that. But it'll be fine for beam shows. Oh, see, that one goes pretty wide too, so I guess it does depend on the pattern as far as how far it goes around. And obviously, you're not going to see all 1900. It's actually saying over 2000 patterns in this video. Excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this for a minute, get some fog in the room, and go from there. Because I think some of these look really cool in fog. Alright, be right back. Alright, I'm back. Of course, as soon as I turned the camera off, I chose a Fred Flintstone knockoff, which was kind of entertaining. And then actually went into a cool motorcycle, like 3D spin thing. Okay. So there's that. Looks like of the 3 lasers that are plugged in... Is it 3? No. Because that's on this. Of the 2 lasers, yeah, because there's 3 plugs, fog machine, and then 2 lasers. So the 2 lasers, one of them can turn off, one of them can't. But even though it's on, it's in sound mode, and we're not making enough noise to trigger it, so it's just kind of sitting up there with its fan running. Fog machine is on, just waiting for it to heat up and start pumping out some haze, excuse me. Let's see, so I got the remote here, which I suppose I can start playing with. I guess I'll move back over so I can look at the back of this thing. Huh, thank you, huh? Thank you. That's cute. That's cute too. Check that out. Oh, the blackout button works. So the other thing about this particular laser, it says it's solid state. So they say turn it off for at least 10 minutes after running it for 30. That seems a little artificially low. See, this thing's barely punt any haze in the air, and it's already showing beams. Oh, this is good juice, man. I already show you. So it's definitely just doing it randomly because there's, some repeats, but at the same time, there's stuff that I haven't seen yet. Now, some of that is a different pattern, some of it is just distortion of other patterns. But yeah, I definitely haven't seen anything like that before. I'm not sick, guys. I'm not sure what's going on. It's probably just allergies or something. Yeah, I mean, you see the hazer's barely been on, and we already, it's literally been less than a minute, maybe two. Okay, I lied. According to the video, it's already been like 4 minutes, but what's that? This random stuff? Yeah, it's already got a decent amount of beam splitting going on, so it's only getting more intense. Kind of waiting for more versus less of these patterns to be ones we've seen before I start messing with the remote. So we've got a variety of stuff, doesn't it? These colors are great too. There's the other thing too. It's it's programmed to do different things. So you have the same pattern. It's got all these distortion effects that it can do, and then it's got what happens with the bounding beams. It can either just go off. It can fold back in on itself. So you can have a basic pattern do multiple different things depending on whether it's set to distort or whatever. Here's the motorcycle thing. Let's see if Fred shows back up here. Neat. I haven't seen that yet. Haven't seen that yet. Haven't seen that yet. But yeah, I did the lighthouse twice. It's done that a couple of times. Possibly is, but things are pretty endless. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. Alright, you get the gist as far as its diversity of pattern. Let's see if I can actually enter any of these sequence numbers. And I can change the color actually from here, I guess. The red. This math formulas. And flip back RGB. Sequence. So I guess this is one of the, I guess there's 15 sequences that it can run through. So you have that all, or AL, I guess is maybe all of them. And then there's 1 through 15 that's, I guess, a subset. So far this seems pretty consistently a short loop. Okay. So like it's got, it says SL or RC15. Then I hit the button again and I keep getting something popping up underneath it, but I can't really tell what. So let's go plus and minus. There we go. Okay, so plus and minus, once it's in sequence mode, is how you go between the libraries. So that was 15, this is 14. Seems to favor red on this one, huh? Alright, so 13. Maybe this is a lot of the short animation stuff. Which should actually be the easiest way to show Fred, if it's in here. Is it just you guys? I guess it's just you guys. So here's 11. So far it seems like the best thing is to leave it on that AL thing and just have it randomly cycle through everything, or at least whatever it pulls up randomly, because otherwise this is pretty limited. Like, you have all these things, you can't make these sequences a little bit bigger. Here's 10. There you go, there's Fred. That'd be one thing if they were like more themed, like a movie theme, or like a disco theme, or Valentine's Day theme, you know, whatever, something like that. But it just seems to be pretty damn random within those groups. So here's 9. I don't necessarily know that I'm going to go through all of these. Not the most exciting video, I'm sure. Also letting the haze build up though too, so we can do some beam shots. Here's 8. And this remote has a 0 through 9 keypad on it too, so I don't know if it's going to let me get into like specific patterns, which I think it might. I'm still learning it. I've only got the thing for a couple minutes so far. There's 7. Interesting group. Six. It's not the greatest remote in the world too. You'd think for $300 they can give you something better than one of these cheap credit card plastic remotes, but you know, it's fine. Alright, 5. Here's 4. We're about 17 minutes on this just particular clip, so I guess at 20 I'm gonna cut it regardless of whether we get to 1 or not. Again, you get the gist. A little bit more than a gist at this point. Here's 3. So far I'm not loving any of these loops enough to really ever use any of them individually. Probably just gonna keep it in all mode most of the time. Well, I guess of all of them so far, this has been the best. I just don't see why I would want to limit myself. It does have that one, then a couple other good stuff here, though. So 3 is definitely one to keep note of. Those seems to be one of the longer loops. Yeah, 3's a good one. I don't think it's repeated yet, has it? I'm gonna have to break my 20-minute rule. I'm also gonna hazard a guess that 1 and 2 are probably similarly good subsets like this. So I guess those are the ones they expect you to use the most, and the other ones are just extra patterns that they threw in there, which is why they're kind of smaller and more limited. Yeah, this is definitely still doing this stuff. So I guess if I want to just stick to shapes and not have any of the animations play, I could throw it in 3. And possibly 1 or 2. Because this is doing enough unique stuff that it would be a fine show, especially with everything else going on. Yeah, this is doing all the good stuff. Alright, I don't know if I'm going to give myself an artificial limitation, but I think 25 minutes is now my new cutoff. Just so you know what you're in for. And I don't mean that for the whole video, I just mean for this particular clip. This is probably the longest clip I've ever recorded, honestly. In one single, thing. I guess the wedding was kind of long too, but... It's a learning adventure for everybody, right? That's kind of trippy. It's taking you along for the experience. You have control over your own play bars. You can pause or skip or fast forward, whatever. I won't get mad at you. It just keeps going and going and going. This is very low flicker for a laser. It's really good scanning speed. That's enough out of 3. Let's go down to 2. Hey, you're back. Which is good because I like you guys. So this is more text and stuff like that. It's good to know. Still don't know what the hell that is. Wouldn't that be more useful as a back a count down, not a count up? Dance, woo! Speaker note. Well, speaker icon now and note. So I guess this is all like at least dance related. Or something. Kinda neat. Bella Fort. Chang. Oh, China. Good luck. See, with DMX control, having some of these show up would be useful. Texas. Do you have one for every other state? Because otherwise I'm disappointed. Doggy! Yeah, group 2's a weird one, huh? LED! Yep, I broke my 25-minute rule. I'm kind of curious what else is in here, though, so... whatever. Strange. Like, why 12 specifically? Is that everybody? Did we loop around? Like that. Yeah, I think we looped around. And sequence 1. So I think some of these animations aren't bad if they were just higher frame rate. But it wasn't advertised as an animation laser, so whatever, it's fine. It's cool that they're there at all. Just interesting. Those look like some high-powered beams. Definitely want to get hit in the eye with those ones. Alright, so I think the next plan for me is going to go ahead and off camera play with the remote a little bit more. See what else I can get into as far as settings on the back of it and over with the remote. And then I'll come back to you guys with some beam effects. So looking at the aperture, so we get some of these tunnels and stuff. And then that'll probably call it for this one. I don't really have a whole lot else for you here. Plus, as we can tell, this length is already kind of stupid. And then... Alright, well, I guess before I do that, while this is still going through its motions here, can I safely carry you without your handle? Not while holding the camera. This is not exactly a light laser. So I guess off camera here for a minute, I'm gonna play with the placement too, see if I can actually put it where I want. And then I'll come back with the results of that. I actually might mount it and then do the beam effects, because it'll be easier to actually get where I want to with it once it's actually where I think it's going to go. So, back in a bit. Yeah, so far 1 and 3 seem to be the most useful, as far as leaving it standalone without being in that all group. One or two more, I guess. Hell, this one I might as well let it go to 30. Because who doesn't want artificial limits? It's cool watching all these multiple colored beams of lights intersect in the middle for a white point. Lets you know it's calibrated correctly or aligned. Alright, it's over 30 and it just keeps going, so back in a bit. Okay, we're back. It's mounted. It pretty much covers the floor perfectly. This area that it covers is pretty much spot on. So it basically covers the entirety of the green part of the rug. So I don't have to worry about the runners too much. First off, the bar over there is covering that runner. Don't really care about this runner, it's black anyway. But it goes pretty much front to back, couch to screen, and left and right runner to runner. And it takes up that spot in the corner pretty nicely where the other one used to be. So at least there's some beam effects now from there. Now that the 5 lasers in the front. I think he works good there. You definitely can get the angle good because of the mounting bracket they used. Kind of funny, the laser did not come with a US power plug. I don't think I mentioned that before. But I got the same computer port, and I'm not using the default power cord anyway because of the length I need to get to the back of the screen. So that didn't really matter, but just kind of entertaining. I think he fills that space pretty nice. I wish the light source was a little higher up, but it's kind of a nitpicky thing, not a huge deal. He's almost vertical. No, well, I can turn the light on for a minute. It's fine. So he's almost vertical. That's about as angled as he can get because of the power cord. Tiny little bit more, but it's hard to get it at the extremes, and I'm getting the coverage that I want anyway, so I'm not really worried about it. Now moving this guy to the front, you know, the 5 laser, and putting him over here was one of the best things I did for the space. I think it's perfect. I did check out the sound mode. So he basically will continue to do what he's doing now. Even in sound mode, he doesn't black out like the ones in the back do. Which is unfortunate, but that's okay. I guess that's why there's a blackout button. But he is pretty reactive. Now, there's no way to change the sensitivity that I can tell based on the remote, the manual, or the controls on the back. Which, honestly, the controls on the back could use a little bit of help. It's kind of not very intuitive, especially with the size of the font on some of the selections. But he does react. So, like, ooh, I haven't seen him draw you before. That's cool. But see what I mean? You can have it draw, you can have it distort, so you can do a lot with the patterns that are in there, which gives you very nearly endless effects. Huh, neat. But anyway, so yeah, with the sound reaction, it'll flip directions, it'll change speed, it'll change color. Because I wasn't playing music, but I was clapping and stuff. So yeah, that'll be cool. I guess for the last little bit of this, we'll come down here and shoot some beam stuff. Yeah, the patterns that he draws definitely makes for some nice tunnels and beam effects. Plus, they look pretty good on the ground, too. This definitely seems to be probably the brightest laser so far. Seems to be the highest power from what I can tell. Again, that's a lot of where a lot of the cost comes from. So he's definitely a little harsher to look into. So definitely gotta watch that. But there's also why having him pointing down at the ground is cool, because you can still get a lot of the tunneling effects without necessarily staring right at the laser. This battery's almost dead too. 14%. I did have to clear up the SD card too. I was basically out of space on that, so I had to finally pull some footage off. That's nice. So this is basically sitting on the ground looking up at it, just to give you like those nice long beams. It's a good blue. But obviously, for the most part, we're going to be standing because we're going to be dancing, you know? So let's take a look at some of that. Oops, where's my phone? I need that. Sweatpants, man. So you're still getting, some of the beams and stuff. And there's 0 eye damage potential here because, like I said, the laser pointing right down. There's no way you can actually look at them. Sounds like the wave's up. It's 510. So you get the idea. I was going to turn the front laser on and kind of show you how that looks in the room now that he's been moved. But I think we're going to hold off on that for the moment and revisit that a little bit later after the missus goes to bed. Alright, see you guys in a bit. Actually, real quick, one thing I gotta figure out today is he's kind of long and his snoot sticks down kind of far. I gotta make sure he's not going to interfere with my actual home theater projector. I think he's far enough over and he's not that much lower than the speaker. It looks like he's clearing pretty much the top of the screen. So I gotta double check to make sure he's not casting a shadow, but I think he's okay. Because otherwise, if he is, this is all hollow here, so I'd have to find the horizontal location where there's a beam, move him further back and stick him into a beam. But something to consider. Hopefully he's fine. Looks a little weird sticking out in the corner like that, but he kind of look smoother over there. But he definitely looks better in the front than the other one did. The other guy's down there. I haven't remounted him or figured out what I'm doing with that yet. That'll probably also be a today project. See if he's going to go back there like I think. Alright, I'm going to go give the wife a good morning kiss. Oh, that was scary. I couldn't get the projector to turn on. But we did have a power issue the other day. We lost one of our phases, so only half our outlets worked. And at one point they completely killed the power to work on it. First power issue we've actually had since living here, at least that we've been home for. So no real complaints there. I forgot that battery was almost dead. I should probably see if I can pick up a third and or fourth one for cheap, considering this is the Hero 8 and they're up to what, the 11th or 12th now, which has yet another redesigned battery. I think it's bigger. I don't know if they're compatible or not, but maybe I can find some batteries for this guy. Anyway, as I was saying, so we lost a phase of our power, so half the lights didn't work at all, the other half were pretty dim. Some worked fine, but the microwave was beeping, dehumidifier was clicking in and out, it wasn't getting enough power. The office upstairs had no power, so I had to turn off the UPS up there. Kind of forgot about the some of the stuff down here, so I tried to go to turn my projector on and it's not turning on. It's like, oh crap, what's going on? The projector is plugged into a UPS, and the UPS, I guess I never turned it off because I forgot about it. I guess had its battery depleted and it turned off, and I guess it never turned back on when power was restored. So that took me a minute to figure out. It's like, oh, okay, but we're back. Doesn't look like I lost anything. All the electronics still seem to be functioning near as I can tell. So it looks like this laser clears the projector just fine. Not seeing anything on that corner outside of the speaker. But there is that. And I was thinking, ah, crap, what is that? Is that the spider light? No, it's not. Although it's close. But it's not. That's not it. It's this guy. My U-King laser. But I think if, while I'm not doing anything with him, I can just do that. Well, Mostly gets him out of the way. Is he clear now? Okay, yeah. It's tight. If I get it just right, it's okay. Because like I said, I don't really run content that high anyway because of the speakers. Because there's a speaker there. And there's a little bit of a foot right there. So I think I'm okay. I'll just have to turn them up and down when I'm using them or not using them. I guess I'll see how high he looks when he's like this. It's mostly the feet. So maybe I can unscrew these feet. Looks like there's just a standard screw in there, although I can't tell in this light. It looks like it's a standard screw in there. So hopefully I can unscrew the feet and that'll save me at least a little bit. I won't have to maybe tip it as much and get rid of a little bit of reflection that's left. Alright, wife is at work. It's a little early to run music. It's only 6 in the morning. So I don't know if I want to rehaze the room now and like show off the front laser positioning and test out the mounting for the blue guy to see, where he's going to go. Although I don't necessarily need haze for that. I should be able to gauge its positioning without having to worry about it. Also, why is the shield background colored? It's not usually colored, it's usually black. I guess just because I was down in this section? I swear that still used to be black, though. Interesting. Maybe there's a new setting or something with that. Never really noticed. But anyway, so yeah, like I said, I might play with the positioning and then worry about hazing the room later when I can actually run some music instead of having to do it twice. I don't have anything coming from Amazon today, lighting related or otherwise. So there's really no reason to worry about doing that later. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll just play with the positioning for the one laser for now. Then probably play some Hearthstone until it gets a little bit later. Maybe do a little Halloween decorating while it's still dark so I can play with the lights outside. And then I'll haze it up and do some music maybe around 8 or so. Alright, see you in a minute. So, while yes, there is a screw in there, you don't even need it. You can just unscrew the foot. So that's good. Now I just need somewhere to put these things where I'm not going to lose them. I always thought they looked kind of stupid anyway, so at least there's that. It's a cleaner look now. Which, I guess, these screws don't necessarily stay in the feet. I need to be careful of that too. But I guess I can take these off too. No, these ones are glued on. Oh well. Those aren't bugging me as much. That's the only one I have to take care of. Alright, catch you in a minute. I'm starting to collect credit card remotes down here. I didn't remember if that U-King laser in the back had a remote or not. I thought it did. Because I thought there was an easy way to get it back into auto versus sound. There was, I found it. Just took a minute. So yeah, hi Simba. Obviously, he can't stay in that position. Well, I guess he could. But as far as showing the animation, he can't really stay in that position to hit my original intent. So he will have to angle down at least a little bit. Although it looks like without the feet... I see your shadow. So it'll, even with where I want him, which is about yay. He is in the way of the beam. At least, hey buddy, depending on the content. If it's, because even it's slower than the speakers, and I run stuff higher than that. That's a new one for you, bud. Say hi. I can't even see you, but that's okay. So yeah, definitely something to consider. But at least it's not hard to move. I'll just have to tighten the pivot once in a while. I'll leave it there for now since I'm not really worried about switch higher, I guess. I'm not really worried about movies right now. But this is what happens when you have a dual function space. Simba wants attention, so I guess we're gonna do that first before we work on anything else. He's in clingy mode. What? You can't have my dangle. It's my GoPro dangle. He does love anything that dangles. Silly boy. I guess I'm gonna play with him with the dangle. Well, no laser show today. I got too tired around 10 o'clock and decided it was time for a nap. And by the time I woke up, it was really too late to do anything. As far as music and stuff goes. So I think we're gonna finish this one off. Laser show is gonna be a different video anyway. So at least I can finish up this video and then get it up. The processing is still working on the one where I had to mute out the Moby song. It's up in 1080, but I still need to edit the descriptions and everything. So I got this little guy. It's got a connector and then a little pass-through. So that'll give me one more outlet up above the stereo cabinet there. So that will power that laser if he stays down here. Or at the very least it'll power the black light. Oh, the black light's probably on a regular plug, so I already have power back there for 2-prong that I can deal with. Now this is the current status of the laser fluid. So this one isn't even open yet. This one is what is in the haze machine now. In a minute I'll go ahead and show you what is left in that when I get this other power cord plugged in. And then that'll be it for this guy. I'll see you in a minute. Alright, that's where we're at on the haze juice. Like I said, I never filled it. So it's down maybe a third from where we started. Somewhere between a third and half. So I think we're gonna be good for a bit. The haze juice lives down here now. I just moved it. Seemed like that'd be a good spot for it. So that's the beam splitter from Foggy's that I'm using. Works pretty good, I love that stuff. And then I have power set up here now for the that's where the thing terminates now. For the other laser, which I'm gonna probably put like here. So maybe I can get the angles working in a way I like. Then I guess that's the next thing for today. And then I'm gonna go upstairs, relax for a bit, and contemplate a nap before work. I'm really starting to think his positioning is limiting me, because I can't pivot him because he hits the bar here, unless he's really angled like straight or turned way more to that way. So I know there's wood at each of these seams. So I think I'm actually just gonna move him over to here one. So he's further into the room. He won't interfere with this as bad. And he'll be away from the curtain rod. So this is kind of the gap that I'm dealing with. So this is the back laser over there, and this right ahead is from this guy. Like I said, I would like to spin him a little bit more into the room, but then he's really high up, and most of his other beams going on this here, which isn't ideal. So yeah, I'm pretty much definitely gonna move him. So I'm thinking the blue guys, maybe they're gonna go somewhere like here. We'll have to see. I don't really care if these ones overlap, it's not that important. Yeah, I just noticed he's getting a lot of ghost images now. Like where he's trying to do a color mix. Looks like the alignment might be off. I swear it didn't used to be that bad. So something may have gotten loose. He does sound a little louder than I remember. I did have to tighten the screws on this guy because he was a lot louder than he started with. So maybe I'll try to tighten some screws and hopefully maybe moving them, have it magically start being aligned better. There's really no consumer adjustments for any of that. Doesn't really matter that much. I'll have to see what the beams look like, but it'd be better if it was doing the full color mix properly. Oh, let's see what I can do to resolve it. I mean, they're cheap lasers, they sometimes do this. Oh, the screws are definitely loose. It's a lot quieter again. This one... looks better. Although I don't think that one was bad anyway. Definitely, you know, the further you shoot it to, the worse it gets. Because you have convergence issues. It still doesn't look like it's mixing very well. Oh, you're way focused on the ceiling for some reason. I guess I pivoted it when I was messing with it. Not that they really did much. I don't know. Listen, I'm not as worried about these. It's mostly for the beam effects, which, you know, if they're mixed properly, will probably look better. I don't know that I'm gonna get, you know, purple and cyan now if they're just next to each other. We'll have to see what it looks like in the dark. But that's not the point for right now. I guess we'll leave it for the moment. Well, looking at the back wall, neither one of them seem particularly aligned up as far as the colors. But if I look at the aperture, it seems fine. I'm still seeing like the purples and stuff. So maybe it's just the distance, and like I said, with the beams it won't really matter so much. The other thing too is, you know, the more centered I get them, they're going to overlap with each other anyway, so it'll kind of mask the double imaging. And then the other thing too is the glass looks a little cloudy. It's possible I just might need to give it a wipe down. There might just be some particulate matter on it. I mean, it's water-based hay, so I don't think that's it. But, you know, dust and stuff, it's been a couple of weeks since these have been up. Maybe they're just refracting the beams in different ways since they're coming from different sources. So I'll try to give them a wipe down, and we'll go from there. Anyway, back to the original point of this, to test it to the laser location. So that's what the back wall looks like now, with the 5 laser going, and the 2 front lasers. So he looks pretty good now. That should take care of that. Yeah, so I'm good with the back wall. Now I just gotta see what I'm doing with that blue guy. Alright, he works well enough in that corner. Right on this line. It is actually backwards from what I thought. So the blue is going to be like over right here. So basically right in between the other two projections. And the red pretty much goes on the screen. But because it's just red, it shouldn't really interfere with the other animation projector at all, because it's hard to see anyway. And then the pattern projections go like right here, which is fine. It didn't really seem, because they're so dim, it didn't really seem to affect the laser any. So yeah, good enough to mount, but I don't think I'm going to do it right now. I'll do that tomorrow when I get home, if I have enough energy. Otherwise, I'll do it after. Alright, that'll be it for this one. Tomorrow should be Laser Show.